Good afternoon everyone, here we are on a very wet and rainy Thursday the 27th of August, and I'm just going to do my daily stitching here. We're right on the edge again. I'm just only a few days left of August now, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm just going to start this thread off while I'm chatting. You know, rain isn't normally an unusual occurrence here in the UK, particularly in the summer. Summer days are very often wet and cold, but I mean this year has been exceptional and we have had very little rain. I'm starting this, by the way, with some very fine silk which I used somewhere else here, and I had some left over, so I'm just using the tail end of it. So what I'm thinking today is a little celebration of rain, because rain is a good thing. Anything that isn't blazing sunshine really is a good thing. So I'm just, and this is dark blue, which, you know, bit of a strange colour perhaps for landscape foreground, which is what this is. I'm just putting down the foreground here. I'm just going to do lots and lots and lots of running stitch in the sky for the rain, because rain is quite soothing, I think. It's quite a meditative sound, isn't it, when you hear the rain falling outside? That nice sort of whispering, rushing noise. Gentle rain, that is. You know, nobody wants violent flooding rain. But at the moment, it's pretty pleasant. It's a little bit cooler than it's been. I'm just going to use this thread up until it's gone, and then I will have a look at maybe putting down some other colours on top of it. And this is really how I go about making these, you know, landscapes like this one. It's really just layered straight stitch. That's all it is. Just varying heights, vary the angles a little bit. I think we might even come up here and do some little, maybe some little fly stitches up in the air here. Doing this the wrong way around, really. Just a few longer stitches. And do 2 straight stitches like that if you're not keen on fly stitch. Right, that's the end of that thread. Let's just finish that off. And then I'm going to do that same thing again with some green. So this time I've got a needle full of hand-dyed green fine silk, and same again, just going to lay down some more straight stitches, some over the top of these dark ones, some in between. Basically until I've used all the thread. And then I'm probably going to come back in there with a third green. Well, a second green, a third colour, second green. You can see how easy the straight stitch is. Just going back along here and filling in some gaps. And bit of a tangle there. Twizzle, not a tangle. technical term. Let's get the last possible bits out of this thread. Probably about the last of it. So I'm just going to finish that off. And then I've got a random 1 strand of DMC, and it's not a commercial colour, it's a eco dyed one. So a friend dyed this very lovely sludgy green, which is really useful for landscapes, because it's you know, it's quite a, I mean, I say this in the nicest possible way, it's quite a dull colour. It's you know, a dull colour is much more natural. A lot of greens are very unnatural, you know, a lot of the synthetic greens. This one's been eco dyed, I forget with what. And with this one, I really am just going to fill in the gaps. And it doesn't matter at all. This one is very similar to this one up here. Doesn't matter to me. You know, we don't have to make these things different every time. Although you could. It's all about doing what speaks to you on the day, I suppose. What, you know, working with what you have in the moment. And some days that might be the same thing 3 or 4 days running, and that's fine, absolutely fine. You know, we don't have to rack our brains thinking of a new thing every day. Absolutely not. If you did, I bet if you did the same stitch in a different colour 5 days running, I bet it would look different. You know, if you did different colour and different thickness. I'm just going to add some little speckly straight stitches up here, just because I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to be. If it's supposed to be trees or if it's supposed to be grasses, doesn't really matter. People will see what they want. We'll see what they want to see. And again, I'm just going to do this until the thread runs out. Let's go back the other way. These are just little seed stitches, very much optional, and I'm only doing it to use the thread, really. As you know, I don't like half bits of thread. I know a lot of people collect them, don't they, into nests, what do they call them, orts? Old ragged threads, is that what that is? I don't know. I don't like tangles. I don't like tangles of anything. I agree they look very pretty, but you know, I like things organised where I can see them, where I can get at them. And that's just personal preference. You know, if you like having a little tangle of threads, if that works for you, that's great. Right, that's about the end of the thread. So I'm going to finish that off. That's looking okay so far. So I'm just going to tie this off on the back. Got some threads there on the back just to run that thread under. Find my scissors. Right. Let's stitch some rain. So I've got, this is a very, very fine thread. It's the vintage cotton that I use sometimes. It came on an old wooden factory bobbin. It's meant for weaving, I think. I don't think it's meant for stitching with. It breaks really easily, but it does a lovely stitch if you're gentle with it. I don't sell this one because it's just too troublesome. I can imagine all the complaints letters I'd get. The thread broke. Yeah, it does. It's not a good selling point, is it? Buy the thread that breaks really easily. So this one's just for me really. So I'm just going to do running stitch in lines of rain. Because the garden is absolutely loving it. All summer we've been trotting out backwards and forwards. We saved all our washing up water because we use one of those kind of eco washing up liquids. We've been saving all the washing up water throughout the day and decanting it into a watering can and chucking it on the garden all summer, just to keep everything alive, because we had some new plants going this year, and we have just about kept them alive, but rain is better, isn't it? So it's basically just going to be lines of diagonal lines of running stitch, and you could do them straight up and down, couldn't you? You know, if you don't want the impression of wind blowing it. And out there it is straight up and down really. But I've got straight up and down there, so I've got using some, what do they call it, artistic license. Which basically means make it up. Because you can. So you can see how this works. It's just, if I could get it where you could see it. Just parallel lines of running stitch. Nothing very difficult there. one more stitch in that corner, and I'm going to get another length of thread. I'm going to do exactly the same in that half. So I'm going to carry on with that a little bit, and I will show you when I'm somewhere back in the other corner. Okay, I've just carried on with a few more of these diagonal lines, and I'm just going to continue until this is full. This is so simple, but you can see it's quite effective. It looks better in real life, actually. I'm seeing it through the camera, and it looks the colour and the contrast looks a bit off, probably because it's so dark outside and I've got a light on. But in, you know, what I'm seeing is a bit more subtle probably than what you're seeing. Either way, it's really effective. And I think grey is a very underestimated colour. I like it a lot. Very easy to overlook grey, you know, when you're picking colours for these things. The thing with grey is it goes with everything. Right, last stitch or two. Maybe we can squeeze another one in that corner. Okay, so I'll finish my thread off in a moment, but for today, a little celebration of rain. So I hope you're enjoying whatever weather you're having, and I hope you're enjoying your stitching for today as well. Have a lovely weekend. It's not Friday tomorrow, but weekend soon. And I will try to be back for this final one here. If I'm not, normally what I do at the end of the last day of the month is I do a blog post showing, you know, all the stitching for the month so far, for that particular month. So if you want to see that, you know, think about subscribing to my blog, which is stitchinglife.uk. So either I will be here or my blog post will be here by the end of the month. But enjoy the next few days. I will see you soon. Thank you as always for watching, and bye for now.